Hello my friends, welcome back to the Bailey Breakdown. Today we are doing deadlift to squat, which is one of my favorite combo moves that you can do at home. So let's get into it. Most of you will start with one weight. You can graduate to two weights, but we will talk about that in a second. So you're gonna start with one weight. You wanna choose a weight that's medium to heavy. Lower body, you can always lift a little heavier than you think. So start with something that feels challenging and you can always progress from there as needed. So with the deadlift to squat, you're gonna hold the weight. If you're doing one weight, you're gonna hold it right here at chest height. I like to grab underneath the weights at the side so I have good control. And one of the key components of this move is keeping the weight close to your body at all times. That just helps protect your joints, your low back, your elbows, etc. And I'll walk you through how that works. So as we get started, we're gonna drop the weight down. And the way I like to do that is to sort of think like up and over rather than like fully down, because again, that's gonna protect your elbow joints when you're using a heavier weight. So you're starting with the weight right here. The first component of the move is a deadlift. So as with any Romanian deadlift, this is a hinge move. So I want you to think about closing a door with your butt behind you or sticking your butt to the wall that's behind you. You want to keep your spine nice and neutral. Your shoulders kind of come back and down. Core is nice and strong. You're hinging at the hips and the weight is dropping secondary to the hinge. This isn't about you thinking about going low to the ground. It's thinking about going back and the weight's just following suit as your torso drops because your spine is nice and neutral and your core is engaged. As soon as you can no longer go back in this direction, that's when you stop. Again, it's not about how low you can go, it's about how far back you can go. So once you've reached the bottom of that move, you've gone as far back as your hips can comfortably go, regardless of if you're at your knees or if you're at your toes, you've hinged fully, you're really feeling that stretch in your hamstrings. From here, you're going to drive your hips forward to lift. And as you do so, flip the weight up to chest height. This is how we're gonna prepare for the second part of the move, which is the squat. So again, it's a hinge and lower, then to stand, drive your hips forward, flip the weight up, and in that one swift motion, you're now dropping into a squat. So your weight is right here, similar to a goblet squat. You're gonna sit back, keeping your weight in the heels, keeping your chest tall, and then return to stand. At the top of the move, think up and over, again with that weight to drop it back, up and over, and then you're right back in to that deadlift. Stand up, flip up, down to squat, and stand. The whole time you're thinking about keeping that core really engaged, pulling your belly button to your spine, wrapping these muscles inwards so that you're controlling the pressure within your core. So let's take a look at this full speed. Now, a couple other things I want you to think about is your weight distribution in your feet. So I want you to think about your feet almost as like there's a triangle in them with the base of your big toe, the base of your pinky toe, and your heel. I want your weight evenly distributed around that triangle, keeping you nice and stable. And that will also help you engage your glutes a little bit more if your weight is evenly distributed and you're really feeling the connection to the ground through all three components of your feet. As you progress throughout this move and get stronger, you will hit a point where a single dumbbell is no longer gonna cut it. And unfortunately, you have to move to two dumbbells. When that happens, all that's changing is the placement of the weight. The cues, the form, all of that stays the same. It's just how you're holding the weights that's different. So with two weights, similar again to just a standard RDL, you're keeping the weights nice and close to your thighs with your shoulders pulled back and down. And they're just gonna skim your legs on the way down, all the way to your shins and back up. When you get back up to stand, rather than flipping the weight with two hands as we did, you're just gonna kind of pop the weights up to your shoulders and then you can squat here. If it feels good to have the weights resting a little bit on your shoulders, that's totally fine. The key is pulling the weight up. I almost want you to think about like a snatch, like it stays really close to your body because again, we're protecting our joints and our low back. So with two weights, still a hinge movement all the way back, as far back as you can go and no lower. If you feel it in your low back, you've gone too far. Once you can no longer hinge, drive your hips forward to stand, pop the weights up to shoulder height, squat from here. And then again, you're still doing that up and over motion to get the weights back down, nice and close to your body. So at full speed. That is our deadlift to squat. I hope that was helpful. Let me know what questions you have in the comments below. See you next time.